Good morning, evening, afternoon or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Husky and I am here bringing you Racing Pals RP Series Season 10 Race 2 at the world famous circuit PaulRicard.com. Sure. We're here once again in the French raceways. This is the circuit Paul Ricard, and we're just getting the drone cam over the pit lane past the main buildings where we've got the spectators and the garages lined up for what I feel will bring us a very entertaining race today. The circuit Paul Ricard is one that is most known in the world for its Formula 1 antics, its GT racing antics, and also, to me at least, the one with a lot of grippy rubber. The blue and the red Ultra Grip tarmac, not rubber, Ultra Grip tarmac. Imagine racing on pure rubber, that would be entertaining. But the stuff that's known to grab cars, to slow them down, and really shred tires if you're unfortunate enough to head onto them. But it gives you, as a driver, a very, very interesting quandary. You've got a lot of room where you can run off, so if you have a little bit of an oopsie, it's not too big of an issue, apart from tire degradation, because you've got all of this specially made scientific tarmac that will grab the car and, you know, slow it down to hopefully make any impact not too big, along with a generous amount of gravel stroke sand in places as well where the grippy tarmac couldn't be too readily applied. This version of Paul Ricard, the one that we have in ACC, still has the old pit lane. For people who know now, the pit lane sort of comes out of the right-hand side of this corner that you can see on your screen and snakes its way into the pit lane. However, this is not the version, the specification, the generation of track that we are dealing with today. The one we're dealing with still has you come through the final corner as we get some cars running through the final corner, and then you've got to quickly switch over to the other side of the track for quite an abrupt entry into the pit lane as we move into qualifying. We've got 15 cars on the grid for today's race. 15. Should end up being a very interesting race for us here in the box. And as you can see, the ground is a bit wet. There has been some rain across the sessions. We've got not a great deal of grip, but it looks like at least the track will, fingers crossed, remain dry today. The next half an hour looking like it's dry, so we should see the lap times steadily build and build and build as the cars work their way through and remove some of that pesky standing water that we're all so used to. I just need to grab a cloth to try and clean my computer screen a little bit. That's probably not going to work out too well. I think I might actually just need some screen cleaning stuff on this. Yeah, I think I will do. But we can see we're already with Kovacs, who had a little bit of a wide moment there. Practice itself was dry. I was there watching out through the practice session, and it had indeed remained dry. But it looks like today, at least with what we can see, the track is wet at this moment in time. 16 cars at the start of qualifying. We may see some more we saw at the pre-season, which I myself was taking part in, and this was an amazing story. We saw this man here, Robin Moe, in the Porsche, come in right at the last minute in the pre-season race and then go on to finish on the podium. So I wonder what we'll see from him today. Now in the new spec Porsche, he came last time in the old spec Porsche at the pre-season race, which was entertaining to watch, to say the least. But now he's got with the times and the current generations, as we will say. He's moving over for the silver championship driver. I think that was Daniel Scott. And we've got a decent amount of grid here today as well. For people who are unaware, for people who don't know, RP Series runs a free driver class system, the Platinum, Silver and Bronze. Platinum, if you look on the left-hand side of your screen at the timing tower, are the drivers that have the white background with black number. So your likes of Kovacs, Maudsley, Jack, Bainke, to say those. Your silver drivers are the ones who have the grey background and white number. So Stork, Scott, RLY, Randall. And then your bronze drivers are the ones that have the red background and black number. Schoblen, Nielsen, Koch and Vangelou. And today it should be a very interesting round as we see Daniel Scott go wide and avoiding action there from Robin Moe, just to keep out of the way of the Jägermeister Porsche that then pulls off the circuit. So I think that will be him going in to change, possibly running on wet tyres, possibly running on dry tyres, but the track will quickly come up to spec. That is the very entertaining thing about starting with a wet track, is drivers will be setting their banker laps, quote unquote. Maudsley there, a 2:07 as the first time across the board that is valid. Now Robin Moe flashing the Ferrari of Koch into turn 1 and turn 2. So let's jump on board with Robin Moe to get a lap out of turn 1 and turn 2. So you have a long sort of snaking bit, brake at about the 100-meter mark into 4, 5 and 6. Then immediately into 7, a long right-hander, a long right-hander into a long right-hander. So you get a chicane, more or less, into 2 long right-handers, then the left-hand flip onto the long back straight. This is the GT layout, which means this back straight has no stopping. You are going all the way up the end of the straight. Normally, in some series, there's a chicane that we've just gone past, but in GT racing, we don't have that. The straight just goes up into the right-hander at 9. There's a little bit of runoff you can use. Then into 10. You can apex it early, but you want to make sure that you're running out a little bit wider to get 11. And using as much of the track as possible into turn 12. Very humpback corner. It actually is a lot slower than what you think, because if you take too much speed in it, you're flying off the circuit, and if you take too much speed in it, you're going into a barrier. Then into the final couple corners, a left-hander, again late apex to set you up for the final corner, one of the slowest on the circuit, drags you all the way around for a lap of Paul Ricard. And now where is Robin Moe going to place? It was actually an invalid lap of 1:59.2, which would have, if that had been valid, put him up in pole position. But a driver who is improving quite a bit by the look of the Delta is Chris Licht for no big deal, the 158 Porsche. That very, very striking cyan and black livery. He's currently 1.6 seconds down on Yamik Smith, who's currently in pole at 1:58.7. However, by the look of it, he will improve out possibly into second place by a little bit, depending on what his delta is when he breaks the beam. Across the line, is it going to improve enough? No, exactly 1/10 behind Sam Maudsley. And then the driver that is improving as well, Yamik Smith, currently on pole, provisional pole for 1:58.7, looking to be a second up on the delta already for the CMR liveried Bentley, the 107. This is going to be interesting, but a lot of drivers yet to take a time as Stork there, a yellow flag. I think he might have just aborted the lap. The track is still greasy. We're not into full dry running yet, so there's a little bit of standing water in places, but I think the racing line will more or less be cleared. Apparently, Yamik Smith is 1.6 seconds up already. As Kovacs there, new provisional pole time, 1:56.6. So the track is getting a lot faster. And then Robin Moe coming across the line on 1:57 dead, but it looks to be that Yamik Smith will overtake Robin Moe. But will he overtake Kovacs? It's looking close. No! 0.088, 800ths of a second behind that. Very interesting. And something else that's interesting, Daniel Scott, the Jägermeister Porsche, the 31 car, and RLY, the privateer Ferrari, the number 7 car, are within 0.2 of each other in silver. And then Frederick Schoblum, the bronze grid driver, comes in for 4th overall. With 5.5 minutes of qualifying left, the track is now green, which should mean that there's not any standing water left, or a very, very small amount, depending on how ACC works. Frederick Schoblum already improving by 0.8, as Daniel Scott has got a yellow flag. He has pulled off. So too has Tristan Stork. But pretty much every driver is out on the track at the moment. Here is an idea of where the drivers are. Find your favourite driver, find their number. This is where they are currently on the circuit, with only, I think, one driver in the pit lane. No, everyone is out on track. And the 951 car, which is Frederick Schoblum, look at the gap that he's got behind him and ahead of himself as well to the 149 of Bainke. He's basically running on his own in quali, which could work in his favour, might not be, as Robin Moe takes pole position provisionally at 1:55.065. So as I said, the times would indeed be coming down. And yeah, they are, as Yamik Smith as well across the line goes into P2 at 1:55.4. Randall, a silver driver, currently provisional pole for silver, the Full Steam Racing Porsche. I'm not too sure what train that's meant to be. Normally he comes with a train-inspired livery for his love of locomotives. Oh, he's currently just coming onto the straight. He's about a 10th up as it stands. There is a lot happening, but there's a lot of drivers who have yet... Four drivers who are yet to set a time, with Stork, Moreno, Koch and Gottlieb. Moreno being one of the interesting ones out of that, because Moreno we're used to seeing fighting up the front. This is his home race, a Frenchman, the French driver. Has yet to set a lap, so will it have to be a last to first for Pierre Moreno, because he is running out of time. After this lap, he'll likely have one more. Oh, that looked like a crash there for Tristan Stork. Let's have a look what happened. This is into 11. Here he's gone on the throttle. Interesting. It looked like there was a bit of a crash there, but it just looks like he pulled off. But then this driver here, improving massively. His current delta would suggest that he would be taking top step of the qualifying session, 6/10 up. But a driver who is just about to come across the line, and I think if the delta is being truthful, obliterate the time, will be Kovacs, a 1:54.3. That gives him just under a 7/10 gap to Robin Moe, with one more lap as well, as Yamik Smith comes in to take second as well. So this qualifying session is definitely on the run, as Pierre Moreno hasn't yet set a time. And this, I think if he invalidates this one, he'll get one more, but he'll have to push it. You can see he is just grabbing as much of the track as he possibly can, just to try, I think, and get as far up as possible, because he is not going to have a lot of time to qualify, in fact. So we'll have to see. He's now running to the end of the straight, turn 9. Pierre is 2 drivers left to qualify. He will get one more lap after this. The time to beat, a 1:54.3. As he comes through the final corner, is it going to be enough to put him on the front row? Is it going to be enough to put him on pole? We'll see. Across the line, it puts him P2, a 1:54.4. And then immediately, as I say that, Thomas Jack, a 1:54.1 to put himself into pole, along with Robin Moe, at 0.173 behind, with a 1:54.3, which is apparently, according to my timing screen, very, very close. 500ths off, which means Kovacs will be on the back foot. Few drivers left now to finish up their laps. Kovacs 2/10 behind. Robin Moe 0.173. Pierre Moreno 0.328. Yamik Smith and Bainke have withdrawn from the qualifying session. They've said their Saturday is over. Randall still running out. Same with Lucht. And never mind. Lucht is now finished. Gottlieb and Nicholas Vangelo are the only drivers left running in this qualifying session. Let's have a look though. Where is Kovacs going to place? That is the question. Into the final corner. He'll have Randall, but I don't think that's going to stop him. Across the line now. Where is he going to place? Will Kovacs take provisional pole? Yes, he will. Is there any response from Thomas Jack? Pierre Moreno comes in P3. Thomas Jack across the line. What's it going to be? P2. So Kovacs there takes pole position in today's qualifying. So your order in class running is Kovacs on pole for platinum, followed by Jack, Moreno, Moe, Smith, Bainke, Maudsley, and then Licht. In silver, Randall takes pole for that class, followed by Scott, R.L. White and Stork. And then in bronze, you've got Koch taking the lead in that class. Gottlieb, Schoblum, Nilsson, and Nicholas Vangeliou. And it's raining. Oh dear. Well, this is going to be fun. So, as we get ready to start the race, the heli is just circling about somewhere over the top of the drivers. It is going to be wet. The interesting part of today's race, it is a 1 hour, 5 minute race with no mandatory pit stop. So the drivers can run the whole race. And looking at the weather, we're starting out with light rain in about 10 minutes time into overcast weather, then in about half an hour's time into heavy rain. So will we see some drivers pit in for that 20 minutes of drier running? Take a bit of a risk there, the 20 minutes of drier running. I mean, this is just going to be very interesting, I think. With 35 now seconds left until the race starts. Now, I have the chat up as well on my other monitor. Hello, chat. Drop me your messages and I will be sure to read them if I get a moment. I know in the start of the race, things can be hectic as we get ready to send the drivers off on their formation lap. This is going to be extremely interesting, however. From the fact that Thomas Jack and Pierre Moreno and Robin Moe are right there in the background behind Kovacs. Same too with Yamik Smith. That top 5, top 6 is looking very, very strong. I'm sure Kovacs is going to be aware of this. But it will all be the question of where this will all happen. Where will the drivers push off the start? And where will they try to make moves if possible? The rain has already stopped, so The track is just damp, but if you're going to be with me here in the stream, make sure you grab yourself a nice drink. Make sure you get your feet up, get yourself comfortable. Because I think we are going to be in with an absolute corker today. As my fellow Southern Englishmen would like to say, we're in for a real corker down here. I don't know if that's actually Northern or Southern. Beyond the point. But, I'm just trying to think, who am I going to hedge my bets on to go absolutely all out at the start? I know for a fact Thomas Jack is going to want to push ahead as much as he possibly can. Same with Pierre Moreno as well. But as we get ready off of the start, they are lining up 2 by 2. The Jägermeister Porsche went a bit deep there, which very nice to see. Well done. And all the drivers coming in behind. So we're getting ready. Double file formation. Rolling start. Kovacs will lead the pace. Thomas Jack getting ready. Keep in mind, he's going to make sure that he's not hung out to dry through the last corner on the start. It's something that I know can happen. It looks like he's managed it fine to line himself up properly. I think, at least in my opinion, one of the hardest places to be is P2 on a rolling start, because you've got no time to react. And then as we hit the line, the lights go green, and away we go for round 2. The hour and 5-minute clock starting to count down. Thomas Jack already moves into the lead, and it's 2 by 2 most of the way down. Yamik Smith getting a bit nosed in. Pierre Moreno holds third. Bainke managed to keep Yamik behind, and Maudsley moves off. There's a yellow flag. I think we're fine. It was for Tristan Stork. I'm not sure if there was contact or what happened there, but he's made his moves up to 14th. Apparently, and Thomas Jack holding the lead out of the first sector. I knew Thomas Jack was going to make a quick start, and yeah, he has made a very, very quick start there. But then Pierre Moreno will be under assault. There's 2 assaults happening. You can see them both. Thomas Jack, side by side. We can't quite see who's going to come out on top here. It's Kovacs. Kovacs made the move round the outside stick at turn 9, putting Thomas Jack back into 7th place, who's now immediately under assault from Robin Moe at the same time. That is not what Tom would have wanted to see. And Pierre Moreno is making sure, he's like, if you're going to fight Tom, I'm going to capitalize on this as much as I possibly can. Porsche. Pierre Moreno tries to look down the inside at the last corner. But it doesn't quite work out for him. But as you can see behind, there's people moving everywhere. Yamik Smith looked a little bit, but didn't quite touch. Sam Maudsley in P5. He's worked his way up quite well. He is under assault from Bainke. Now let's have a look. Pierre Moreno. We're on board with the Frenchman as he chases down the German. Frenchman and a German in 2 German cars. A new Porsche. And the Finn as well up ahead in the German car as well. There's probably a joke there to make, but I'm not too smart to make it. Also because I'm just not that funny. Pierre Moreno, he's holding as much as he can in the slipstream. Thomas Jack as well, trying to hold it. Robin Moe breaking, trying to break the toe. Slow themselves down a little bit, but we're going to jump back just a bit to Frederick Schoblum and Daniel Scott. Gottlieb's in there as well. This is the battle for 10th overall, not for class position, keep in mind. If Frederick Schoblum gets past Daniel Scott, he hasn't gained a class position, but he has put a car between himself and P2 in his class. For people who are unaware of how class racing works, you have to imagine it as 3 separate races in one. The drivers are not scored on overall position, they're scored on race position in class. So Schoblum is currently winning his race, Randall's currently winning his race, and Kovacs is currently winning his race. It's always an interesting thing to move on to as you go into the class racing system, is having to change how your mind works, because you think he's come across the line first, he gets all the points. Not always how it works in class systems, because he's crossed the line first in platinum, but he's crossed the line first in bronze. But we're still with Pierre Moreno as he fights just to try and reel in Robin Moe. With these 3 guys in the same car, it makes it very, very difficult as a driver, I would imagine, to utilize as much as possible the strengths of your car against the weaknesses of the other. If you're in the same car, you know, you have to sort of think, our strengths and weaknesses in this car are roughly in the same places. So it moves less from, whereas, for example, the Porsche versus the Bentley, this is, where am I, Moreno? Oh, crash behind, Bainke's round! It looks like he had a coming together with Yamik Smith. We're going to have a look at this. This is coming down the straight. See with Yamik Smith. Will jump on board on the dashboard. He's catching up to the Lamborghini very, very quickly. He moves over. Oh, he's just tapped him a little bit. And then that's been enough to send the car round. That is not what Bainke would have wanted. If that's enough damage, he'll have to box. And keep in mind, there is no mandatory pit stop in today's race. So that will cost you a lot of time, as your top 5 are still the same. But Thomas Jack having to defend from Moe, who in turn is having to defend from Moreno, who's in turn having to defend from Maudsley, has allowed Kovacs to run a 1.5 gap. And it is going to keep climbing the more these guys fight. And the weather forecast has changed. No rain expected now for the next half an hour. So the drivers may want to think about possibly if I can get my words straight, possibly coming in for a pit stop to change tires. Because half an hour, that is a big chunk of today's race to run on dries, as we just see the tail end of the move there that Bainke makes on Licht. And Tristan Stork, the Heimo car, chasing down the rear end of Schoblum. At the same time, but back up to this battle at the front. Robin Moe has made his way past Thomas Jack. Pierre Moreno is now looking to follow suit. Maudsley probably in the background going, you know what, I'm happy to wait here. if you want to just give me a bit of time to wait and, you know, if you make anything, you make Smith into the pit lane. Same with Randall. So these are the two drivers coming soon. Same with Stork, Shoblam and Scott. So these guys are coming in for the early pit stop. Gottlieb and Koch as well. Nilsson stays out. So maybe these guys know something that we in the box don't. Obviously, I can just stick my hand out the window and go, yep, it's dry. But it just looks like from the weather forecast that we are running in the dry for the minute. I saw a wiper on there for Thomas Jack. I'm not sure if he's just trying to trick me out. I mean, we can jump on board with Pierre Moreno and see, you know, there's no rain there. Whereas Thomas Jack, he's like, wiper! I make myself giggle sometimes. Oh, Pierre Moreno's gone for an adventure. Same with Maudsley, to less of an extent. That's going to help the gaps out massively. I would say, never mind, I was wrong. But Pierre Moreno now once more chasing down Thomas Jack. He's running that curb as hard as he possibly can to try and make it work. He's going to hold the inside through the final corner. Thomas Jack might try to cut back, but it hasn't worked. But Thomas Jack looks like he's dipping into the pit lane. So our first front runner to jump into the pits. That will be interesting. That will change the complexion of today's race, I would say. Same with Liuk as well. Both drivers going into the pit lane. This will become very interesting, because if they can get some clean air running, not attacking or defending, there could in fact be an undercut. But oh wait, the weather forecast has changed once again, saying that we're going to have rain in the next 10 minutes. Oh dear. This could be the big brain being deflated if the weather forecast is true. He's come in for dries, I would say. But now it looks like there might be rain on the horizon in the next 10 minutes. But Tom, knowing Tom, very data-driven man, very data-driven driver, he'll be looking at the weather forecast and going, here is how I can make this strategy work for me. Here is my line into the pit lane that takes off an extra millionth of a second to be a millionth faster than the guy in front for my pit stop. It's going to be like 5 seconds of thunder. I don't know. Never trust the weather. But once more, we see Robin Moe under assault from Pierre Moreno on the rear wing of the number 3 Porsche. He's holding Pierre Moreno as much as he could there, but it looks like Pierre might have it. Not sure. They're still together as they head down to the chicane. Pierre will have the inside first time. Then I was going to say Robin would have the inside second time, but it doesn't look like that's how it's worked out. Pierre Moreno up to second position with a 1.92 second gap-ish to Martin Kovacs up ahead. The MLP 861 Aston Martin. That's going to be an interesting one for him. And Thomas Jack, as you can see, pushing as hard as he can to try and close up the 1 minute 3 second gap that he would have to Kovacs at this moment in time. So it's just going to be interesting as to where everything is going to fall into place. We've got Pierre Moreno now past Robin Moe, trying to catch up to Kovacs. Yamik Smith and Thomas Jack having boxed in. So 5th and up, still I think running on wet tyres. They must be getting very, very warm at this moment. But now we see Miguel Koch and RLY, the 48 and the 7th car, chasing each other around the circuit. The different classes of car. So it wouldn't be as much of a change. Now we see Chris Liut. He's chasing the rear end there of Tristan Stork. Liut was one of the drivers that boxed in earlier on. For I think dry tyres I can see on that Porsche. He's putting his faith in the weather and hoping that it remains dry, because these drivers have pitted in for the dries. If it does rain, independent of what they've done, they'd need to hope that the rain is short-lived enough to ensure that they have sufficient time, really, to run their new tyres in. Because if some of the drivers have managed to make a set of wets last the whole race, they've not had the extra time of a pit stop. They might be losing time now, but there's not the extra time that would be required for a stop. There's Bainke there pitting in as well further up the field. And just there, as we saw in the camera, Liut made his move on Stork, putting himself up to 10th position. He'll want to be closer to his platinum cohorts. But further up, a story that has occurred. Pierre Moreno within a second of Kovacs. Pierre Moreno, one of those drivers who hasn't had a title, a championship, a trophy for the past couple seasons. He's going to be wanting that now. He's going to be hungry to get another RP Series title under his belt from a hiatus of RP Series titles. We'll have to just see what will happen if the weather changes. Track is currently running optimum. I mean, just have a watch at Pierre Moreno's wheel. How much he's having to fight the car. Keep in mind, GT cars, GT3s, and some GT4s have traction control, and as you can see, the LED lights either side of the wheel are the traction control for the Porsche, and you just see how much they're coming on, how much I'm sure Pierre Moreno is having to fight these wet tires to make them work. However, it looks like his tire saving antics, or maybe his tire ending antics, have helped him catch up to Kovacs. Now the gap is 3/10 from a second just a sector ago. 3/10 now, these two. So what's going to happen? They will fight tooth and nail for this race lead with 46 minutes left on the clock. In the chat, a question from Corelliot, probably mispronouncing that massively. Why is there no mandatory pit stop? So with RP series now, not all races are created equal. Different races have different lengths, different formats, and different pit stop rules. Paul Ricard this time around is a single stint race, not a pit stop race. So it's down to the drivers to make sure tyres last and that they can run to the end. As during that explanation, we saw Pierre Moreno take the lead as the rain has started to come down. This is going to mean all of those drivers who took dry tyres, depending on how much the rain will come down, will need to go bing, 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 bing into the pits. Because the track has already gone from optimum to greasy. The first stage of rain, and I'm sure for these guys who have been running the wet tyres all the way through, they're going to be sat there going, thank you very much. If this lasts, we've just basically gotten ourselves a free pit stop worth of gap. From the look of the weather forecast, this rain is in to last at least for the next 10 minutes. If anything, it's set apparently to get heavier. Though we shall see. But Pierre Moreno leading the race, leading the way. From Martin Kovacs, and if anything, it looks like that gap is increasing as they head down the start-finish straight. Kovacs staying as much in that draft as he possibly can. So we will have to just keep an eye out and to watch as what will happen as already Koch comes into the pit lane. Pierre Moreno going very wide there, very deep. Track is now damp. Oh, that looked like an unhappy moment there for Frederick Schoblin. What has occurred here? He's got Licht behind him into the final corner. Oh, he's just turned in where Licht was. And I don't know if he noticed he was there or not, but a little bit of side-by-side contact has allowed the 158 and the 66 car to get past the bronze leader of Frederick Schoblin in the 951 Bentley. Now Stork has gone off the circuit quite deep. That's going to give Chris a very decent amount of breathing room, I would say. But then back up to the starting top group, top two. It's still Pierre Moreno leading Kovacs, but the gap is half a second. It has been coming down. However, it has been coming down over time. As you can see, a proper sheen on the track as we're on board now with Martin Kovacs. Pierre Moreno, he's got slipstream working against him. Kovacs moves to the outside. Now it's a drag race. Kovacs got a little bit of extra speed with the slipstream. Pierre Moreno thought he could easily move back into it, but mistimed that a little bit. That's going to hurt his gap. But Kovacs once more into the lead of the race. Pierre Moreno once more, the car that's chasing Kovacs. This race has been very, very strong in the wet. And Pierre Moreno has been very, very strong in the dry. So I'm sure what might happen is we'll see these two ebbing and flowing together. As the rain starts and stops. Scott, Nilsson and Koch all in the pits. Some drivers possibly thinking of staying out longer, trying to make those tyres work for them. Now, I just need to see, is there anything on this wing? No, but there is a rainbow dash. The liveries in RP series will never cease to make me go, okay. Once more, it's not Schoblin. Kovacs leading from Moreno. Robin Moe behind 3 seconds as a stop-go 30 for Miguel Koch in the ST Racing 48 machine. Tristan Stork is having some netcode issues by the looks of things. Yep, we will just have to see what happens. Some cars are already a lap down. Daniel Scott being one of them. He was one of the drivers that risked going on the dry tyres. And I don't think it's worked out for him, but a little mistake there from Robin Moe onto the back straight has given Daniel Scott the run. Now this is a lapped car. The rules are with lapped vehicles. Hold your line, stay predictable, and try not to defend. Some drivers, however, like that, choose to go nope and fire themselves off of the racing line to not get caught in any trouble and strife. Throughout the race. Frederick Schoblin fighting his way back up. This is for position, keep in mind. Tristan Stork looking to try and hold the outside, let Frederick Schoblin onto the wet part of the circuit. But it looks like that Bentley has got the move done. On the brakes into turn 9, you can just see how hard it is to look. As there's contact! There was contact there between Stork and Schoblin. What had occurred? Let's have a look. This is them running up to the to turn 9. Schoblin gets his way past. And then you can see as they run up on the brake, Schoblin overshoots the apex a little bit. I think Stork misjudges it. And then they touch. Round they both go. Stork gets his way off all right. But does wait up for the Bentley. Good amount of sportingness there for the drivers. So I'm sure that would have been something that Frederick Schoblin would not have wanted. As Randall now under assault from Chris Liuk. 6/10 is the gap between the two Porsches. Porsche on Porsche action. As Randall, locks it up. into the chicane. Let's have a watch here. Just watch the front right tire as he heads down into the chicane. I'm not sure if the ABS is too low or what, but just watch. On the brakes, and it's gone. And that has just allowed, look there, free reign of P7. I'm sure that Randall would not have wanted to see at all. There's now Bainke. He is on the back of Tristan Stork. Down the straight again. Here comes the Lamborghini. Through to the inside. He had that bit of contact earlier. It looks like he's going to make the move work. Yes, he has. That puts Bainke up to P10. As I've just given myself the hiccups. Submerging Sheeper in RP Series Challenge. No! That is one of the titles available. The Murdered Sheba title. The driver that murdered Sheba in the most entertaining way gets the title. As round goes Sheba, he's murdered himself. Let's have a look what happened there for Sheba. As we say that, it happens. Oh, that's funny. I love that. That's great. And now, here we go. Let's have a watch. The car's just gone from under him. There's nothing he can do about it. The car's just like, nope. And the flag marshal's like, flag, 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 flag. That's what I do sometimes. So the award for murdering Sheba in the best way goes to Sheba. Let's all give him a big hand. But as we're back with the racing, there's not a great deal occurring at the minute. Bainke though, 9/10 off of Randall. This will be interesting, as looks like Bainke just shifts his way around Randall. There's a yellow flag there for Miguel Koch. Oh, that is a lot of damage on that Ferrari. What has happened? We don't know. That damage was sustained beforehand. It looks like there might have been contact with the with a different car, but I'm not sure. Can't quite tell there, but that is a lot of damage on that Ferrari, as we got a yellow flag for Robin Moe. Oh, is he gonna hold it? He's going on one of the alternate layouts by the look of it. But he has managed to hold it, but that is not going to be useful for him as... Oh! That had to be some avoiding action there from Maudsley. As Robin Moe came back onto the circuit very, very quickly. I think Lance Stroll would have had something to say about that. Get it? As we're back with Mike Bainke on Chris Liert. The Porsche 158 of Liert and the 149 of Bainke. Here we go, down the straight. What car has the more brunt? German or Italian engineering in the engine department? Keep in mind it's a Lamborghini, so it hasn't stooped to burning oil. But it looks like the Lamborghini is going to be running past the Porsche. There's more P's there and more plosives than anyone needs in their lifetime. But you get the point. It looks like that Lamborghini has moved up quite a lot, as now with Robin Moe on Sam Maudsley, and Pierre Moreno's there as well. But hang on a minute. Where has Kovacs managed to get himself off to? 13.5 seconds up the road. Hang fire. So this is a bit of contact we had earlier. Possibly, no. I'm not too sure what's happened there. If there was some strife for our front runners. I'm not 100% sure how Kovacs has managed to get so far away. In reality, Maudsley and Moe now all fighting over a podium position as Maudsley goes deep, allowing Robin Moe through. This will be very, very interesting. And I know I've said that quite a bit this stream, but it will be extremely interesting to see because the rain's still coming down for around the next 5-10 minutes. So James, who I'm pretty sure is in the chat, Joshua Andrews, you were wrong. It wasn't thunder for 10 minutes. It was rain for about 15. Time is relative. So what? I've aged 10 minutes, you've aged 5 seconds. Is that the key to immortality? It's just like perceive a year as a second. I'm guessing it is. I could write a book about that. I'm noting that down. That's my idea. But now we have Isaac Nielsen fighting on the back of RLY. And has made his way past in that very striking Tango livery for the Lamborghini. Very nice livery. Kinda makes me want a can of Tango. Or a bottle of Tango. In the chat, what's the best Tango? For me, it has to be the, Oh, that's a hard question. Either the fruit twist or the grape. Those are two good ones. The lemon one can get in the bin. There you go. Let's have that in the chat as a discussion. What Tango is best Tango as we watch the top 3 battle once again. Robin Moe has been retaken by Maudsley. Pierre Moreno still running in second place. And the rain has, for the eagle-eyed amongst you, stopped. So Kovacs dropping into the pit lane, I'm guessing to get a set of dry tyres on already. Just gonna maybe live through it, or maybe he had a plan for a pit stop all along this race. You just can't tell who's doing what, who's where. In a race when it's like you must make a pit stop, it's like, okay, Drivers are likely going to make a stop round here. When it's a race where it's like, oh, you don't have to stop, it's going to be like, why is he stopping? What's he doing? What's his plan? You know? At least that's what I feel like is happening. So we will just keep an eye here, but that battle for now, first place, seems to have extended out a bit for Robin Moe to be directly involved. But Sam Maudsley and Pierre Moreno, both drivers together. The Porsche leading the Bentley. It's apparently meant to be dry for the remainder of the race. So that is maybe what Kovacs is looking at, going, it says here it's going to be dry until the end of the race. I will take the strife on the wet tyres to get a quicker lap time and to make sure that, you know, I can be ready on the ball when the track dries out, have dry tyres on already and keep going and keep pushing. Oh, it's going to be an interesting one to see and to theorise about, really. But Maudsley now 8/10 gap to Pierre Moreno, and that means that Robin Moe is going to be pulling himself in. But it looks like the drivers are going to be pulling each other closer and closer together as they run. So this will be the interesting question, because the track is getting drier as we get a shot of Nicholas Vangelo running around in that number 21 Torn Racing McLaren. Back up to the top three drivers. Have a look. The wipers are still on. So there is still a bit of spray coming off of the cars that, you know, they just need to wipe away. The sun is out. And now, in the slipstream, Maudsley is going for the move. It looks like he's clear of Pierre Moreno. Into turn 9. He is indeed clear. Sam Maudsley moves up into the lead of the race. And now that is going to mean Pierre Moreno will have to catch back up to the rear end of that Bentley. He's had two once British cars that are no longer British to catch up to this race. One of them was British and is now Canadian. The other one was British and is now German. So it's an all-German top 5. I'm pretty sure Bentley is owned by the Germans. I cannot remember. Either way, as Pierre Moreno there ducking into the pit lane, getting himself ready. Maudsley and Moe staying out, but you can definitely see a dry line has formed on the circuit, which I'm sure for those still on wet is going to be a, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's just the hard question of what's going to happen to who and where. Because it's... No, I'm pretty sure Bentley's owned by one of the German manufacturers now. Will I have to Google this? I'm going to have to Google this, aren't I? Who owns Bentley cars? Audi. Volkswagen Group. So yeah. Yeah, it's owned by VW. Apparently. According to the top result on a Google search. So there we go, we learn something new every day. Who says motorsport can't be an interesting and educational experience? I love that backtrack. That was beautiful. Bentley is British, isn't it? Never mind. So, it's owned by VW. Oh, I love the chat sometimes. It's great. There's now Maudsley, half a second separating himself from Robin Moe. The track is now damp, so it will be the time for drivers to dip into the pit lane as much as possible. You know, trying to run as much of a gap. Maudsley's coming in, but it looks like Robin Moe's staying out. No, he's not! Maudsley just duped me! This is an outrage! I'm taking this to my MP. Don't know if that was just to break the toe or what, but it looked 100% like he was moving into the pit lane. So are these wet running drivers thinking, I can make this work for the next 20-ish minutes, or will I just have to go, no, you know what, it's not worth it. So, we see Martin Kovacs. He came in for the drives earlier on. Bainke there. A drive-through penalty for the 149 Lamborghini. That is not going to be ideal. Is Kovacs going to make the move up the straight? Yes, it looks like he is. And now you meet Smith. I think has just been overtaken by Thomas Jack. But further up the field, we've got Robin Moe. The GT Bentley is designed and made by a teaming crew. As Sam Maudsley once again fakes going into the pit lane to get Robin Moe on the outside and to not stay in the slipstream. That's worked 2 laps in a row for Sam Maudsley. I don't know if it's going to work a 3rd time or not. Because if Robin Moe sticks behind him while he's indicating for the pit lane and thinks, oh, he's not going to go in, he's just going to go past it, and then he does, what's likely to happen is Robin Moe's just going to punt the Bentley into the pit lane. And I don't know if that's going to matter, because as I say that, Robin Moe takes the lead from Sam Maudsley. It looked like the Bentley went a little bit deep. And it paid off for the Porsche, but it looks like the Bentley's coming back with a vengeance. That car is on the limiter. You can just hear it just going, ah, help. Once again, through the corner. If you run, you can run. How is this explained to me on that corner? Some of the corners at Paul Ricard have these yellow markers that sort of lead on a triangle shape back onto the circuit. The way I was explaining this is, imagine the 3rd marker is basically a curb. And that curb then, a curb from the end, like where the track ends, so barrier, or an ocean, as a curb to the furthest out bollard. And then imagine once you get to the 321, the curb comes in. So in GT racing, you can run 2 wheels on the curb. I believe it is. and then you're fine. So that's what this does with a track where a lot of corners are faster and more flowing, and you could possibly run wider a lot easier. They have that in place. You will still get a track extension warning, but it's viewed, at least it's in the real world that I learned, it gets viewed a lot less stringently and might not even be like a warning. And I'd be like, don't do it again, you. At least that was how someone explained it to me. I'm not sure if it's right or not. I could have just said anything. I'm pretty sure that's right. As Robin Moe has been released from the pit lane. Looks like he's going to be running out. Decent bit behind. With Thomas Jack for small peepee is chasing down Unique Smith. So it's now Bentley 1-2, Porsche 3. Kovacs 5.4 seconds he's got to try and find in 15.5 minutes. So he boxed in for dry tyres. In the second bout of rain. Thomas Jack, I think, boxed in for dries. Yep, it looks like he is indeed on the dry slicks. I'm not too sure about Unique, though. I can't quite tell with the tyre. It looks like he's also on the dries as well. Maudsley, however, on the wets. So is this going to be the time where he decides to box in? Yes, it is. Maudsley comes in, almost has the car career off into the barrier. And this means that Thomas Jack and Unique Smith will now be in a drag race down to turn 1 for the lead of today's race, as I have just punched my microphone. Looks like Unique's going to hold the position, but Thomas Jack, little bit of argy-bargy there, but doesn't look to have affected them, those two, too much. Kovacs now 4 seconds behind. Thomas Jack has dropped to 7/10 through that first corner. Robin Moe down in 9th position. He's chasing down Tristan Stork. So here we see a lot of different things as Maudsley 8th, 9th. Not too sure why that Bentley is going to come out. P10 by the look of it. As we can just hear Thomas Jack's Porsche screaming down the straight. I'm not long enough for this, screams the gear ratios. Kovacs now 3.4 seconds behind. Of P2, 4.3 behind Unique Smith in first position. As Pierre Moreno drive through penalty. That is not going to be what Pierre wanted at what is his virtual home race. A drive-through penalty. He is 5.6 seconds behind Viet. Thomas Jack, half a second between himself and Unique Smith. This will be an interesting one. It's meant to be dry for the rest of today's running. It's just trying to think of where I can hedge my bets here, because at the same time, Robin Moe also drive-through penalty. Those were two drivers contesting for the win of this race just 50 minutes ago. Now being served with drive-throughs. I haven't really had much time to tell you how the field's looking because it's been chopping and changing so often. There's a yellow flag for Robin Moe. There is a big crash there. That's RLY. What's happened here? We'll jump on the heli. Oh, it was just the littlest of taps on an already unsettled Ferrari that did it. RLY, the car was already unsettled. He tried, I think, on the look of it, to correct it. Got that little tap, which more or less seemed to settle the car for him. That then sent him off in the other direction. That is what we call an unfortunate set of circumstances. As now, Thomas Jack on the limiter again. It's like he's driving a Janela. Here we go. Watch the lights. And limiter. At 281 kilometers an hour. 82. Is that 80 or 6? I don't think these things can hit 280. But he's stayed close to Yamik Smith. He is fighting here for the race lead, but he wants to make it quick because Kovacs right there, bearing down on them. 2.4 seconds is the gap. He's just in the back of our camera shots. That tells you how far away 2.5-ish seconds is. The truth is, not very. But the more they fight, the closer Kovacs will get. Kovacs qualified on pole. Made the switch to dry tyres basically as soon as the race stopped. Now 1.7 with these two cars. 1.7 seconds. And Yamik Smith still chasing the rear end of the Porsche. Has to brake to not contact, but keeps it tight up close. Thomas Jack defending to his heart's content here, but it will be down the straight where the limiters will fly. And we'll see, he's got 4/10 as he hits the straight. Now where is that going to go? 2/10 already. 1. None. And here the limiter on the Porsche already going, but the Bentley hits it just that little bit later. 1/10 gap now for Yamik. Looks to be 1/10 as they hit the corner. Thomas Jack needs to maximize the exit here. It doesn't look like he does like he did last time round. 7.5 minutes left. We're going to be in a 3-car fight for the race win because Kovacs has clawed his way back up to within half a second of Jack, 1 second of Yamik. As I said, the more these two fight, the more that these two will let Kovacs catch back up. And once again, I have been proven correct. Thomas Jack trying to grab the outside line, get a better exit. Keep in mind though, it is the Porsche, so down the straight, not the best. Especially down the back straight. He needs to be ahead by about half a second down the back straight to begin with a chance of not having the Bentley. Oh, there's contact there. The two leaders are off. Yamik Smith in the barrier. What happened here is between himself and Tom into the corner. They were flying through the first one. Oh, Tom has just pulled in front of him. Yamik running for the lead of the race. Now down in third, 7.5 seconds behind Thomas Jack. And that has meant that Kovacs has gone up into the lead of the race. Wow! Yamik is going to, I think, be absolutely distraught by that. He was running so well. We're going to have a look at that incident. Watch Tom on the outside through the first corner. Oh, and it's just tucked him into the barrier. Yamik Smith was one of the drivers who was in the running for the race win, and that just happened in the last 10 minutes of the race. Drama and excitement. You get it all in the RP series. We have had an hour-ish, or just over an hour, of racing. But we're almost. At the end of our running today, Kovacs leads from Thomas Jack. Just going to be now the last 3 minutes for Kovacs to hold on. To take the victory here at round 2. Which will very much help his championship aspirations, I would say. 2 minutes 17, so we'll get this lap plus one more. As remember, in GT racing, the race does not finish until the leader crosses the line with 0 seconds left on the timepiece. 1:12. We're going to enter the last lap of today's running for Martin Kovacs. He made, I think, the best call he could there after the rain had stopped, and he saw that the track and the weather was going to remain dry for the final 20 minutes-ish. He made the call to come in for dry tyres, which I think was the right one. He's running in the lead. Thomas Jack running in P2. But for the final time, going down the long straight. Where's the speed limiter? Don't think I could hear it on that one. Through turn 9 into the final sector for the last time. Then 10. And 11. Thomas Jack looks like in the background there, he's just trying to push as hard as he can to win today's race. And through the final corner for the last time. Martin Kovacs takes the win. And Thomas Jack comes through in second. Yamik Smith in third. Now, where is the other competitors in the other classes going to come? That will be the question. Michael Randall coming through the final few corners now. Liut, P4 in platinum and overall. Pierre Moreno looks like he'll run P5 platinum overall. Randall across the line to win the silver class. Daniel Scott, P2 in silver. Maudsley, P7 overall and P6 in platinum. Tristan Stork, P2 in silver. P8 overall. Schoblem gonna come and take the win of bronze, followed in the future by Justin Gottlieb. Whew. So we're just going to get the drivers in who have won their classes for an interview, and first and foremost we're going to get in Kovacs. Hello, Kovacs.
Hello.
So another win for you in the GT format with this very interesting weather. How was it for you?
Oh, it was a really hard race. The strategies are all messed up. The driving was difficult. It's just all over the place.
And I saw when you came into the pit lane, it looked like, at least from the outside, you just went, oh, the rain stopped, looks like it's going to be dry, get the tyres on, boys. Was that just the case, or had you thought it out a bit more?
I mean, the whole time my eyes were on the weather forecast, and it changed constantly. I was dealing with the pressures, changing between wet and dries. It was so hard.
So, round 2, race win for you. Round 3, taking us to Misano. How do you feel the Aston is there? How do you feel that you are there?
I mean, I like the track. I have plenty of kilometers on it. I don't know how the Aston is gonna be, but I have high hopes.
Ah, well then, on that note, congratulations on your race win. If it's much the same as today, I will probably be seeing you asking you the same questions next week.
Hopefully.
See you next time, mate. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
So that was Kovacs, the winner of Platinum Class. Now, someone that you've probably heard from before, regular GT racer, who we see quite often. It's Mr. Michael Randall. Hi.
Shoulders.
So, apart from shoulder injuries and shoulder hurts, how was the race for you?
Bloody hell. I mean, it was wild. I don't know how I made it through. I am getting feedback through your mic, and I can hear myself, by the way. But yeah, that wet stint on the dries was terrifying with a few spins, but other than that, it was pretty damn good. I am beat.
So with the next round being at Misano, how do you feel about Misano as a track? Do you like it? Do you not? Do you think you're going to do well? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to do really well because I'm not going to be there.
Fair.
I'm unable to attend.
So then round 4.
Donington, like Donington. Wish I had the other chicane, but like Donington. And I haven't really raced it on ACC, but other than that, I feel like I can do pretty good. It's definitely going to be my strong track, though, for this season.
Ah, well, we'll look forward to seeing that from you. Until then, in 2 weeks' time, where I might speak to you again with a win at Donington, you never know. Congratulations on the class win here today, and I will see you maybe in 2 weeks.
Have a good one.
Goodbye. And that wraps up our stream today from me, Husky, for the RP Series Season 10 Round 2 at Paul Ricard. Until next time, thank you all very much for watching. And the final thing to talk about is the event plug. I have an event to plug to you guys. This event coming up on March 2nd, the Red Bull Ring Spielberg 4-hour GT2 and GT4 solo or duo with a live stream and live stewarding. This is on the 2nd of March. Practice starts at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 4 p.m. Universal Standard Time. Red Bull Ring, practice will be half an hour, followed by a half-hour quali split between 2 classes, 15 minutes of GT4, 15 minutes of GT2s, and then a 4-hour race. So, make sure you keep your eyes peeled on this channel for that. Until next time, I will see you all on the 11th of February, 1 week time, for round 3 at Misano. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.